The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, arguably the pioneer of catchy, cutesy anime dances that most of us absolutely learned when we got the chance. That's right, I know I'm not the only one who learned the Hare Hare Yukai. I'm looking at you, Steven, Maria, and especially you, Rachel. Anyway, it was soon followed up by the equally iconic Moteke Sailor Fuku from Lucky Star, an anime that came out only a year after MHS, which is what I'll sometimes be calling Haruhi's anime since the title is way too long to say all at once. Funnily enough, MHS and Lucky Star share the same voice actresses for their main characters, Haruhi and Konata, for both the original Japanese and English dubs, Aya Hirano and Wendy Lee respectively. Lucky Star also very blatantly references the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya often, since Konata is a fan of the show, as well as the Hare Hare Yukai, with Konata playing front and center as Haruhi during the dance. Fun times! But we are not here to discuss the absolute joy of the musical impact of Haruhi Suzumiya. We are here to do the exact opposite, and discuss the utter despair of the Endless Eight. Hello everyone, my name's Aloubell, and I love the concept of the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Starting out as a light novel in 2003 and then adapted into an anime in 2006, it's a tale as old as time. A teenage girl named Haruhi Suzumiya had an existential crisis when she was a kid where she realized how mundane life can be, and how her existence is nothing more than an uninteresting blip in the grand scheme of the universe, leading her to having interest in the strange and supernatural, complete disdain for anything even remotely ordinary, and encouraging her to be more eccentric and stand out. The ironic twist, however, and I'm not spoiling anything because this is revealed really quickly, is that Haruhi is, in fact, the most interesting person in not only the world, but the universe. She is quite literally a goddess and doesn't know it. Within her lies the power to create, change, or destroy reality to whatever she sees fit, and it's absolutely imperative that she never finds out about her abilities. Her existence grabs the attention of three factions who each send representatives to make sure that Haruhi stays satisfied and happy with her life so that she doesn't accidentally change anything. The story, however, is told in the perspective of Kion, a very ordinary high schooler who just wants peace and to stay under the radar, but who grabs the attention of Haruhi, who forces him into her schemes, much to his annoyance. I love this anime so much. Not only does it have a very unique concept, but the execution of the story is also done really well. Being animated by the fabulous Kyoto Animation, you know you'll get top-notch quality. The characters are all lovable or fun, and you're guaranteed to find a favorite amongst the main 5 members of the SOS Brigade, whether it be the eccentric and bossy Haruhi, the sarcastic straight man Kion, the chipper yes man Itsuki, the timid and kind Mikuru, or the unbothered poker-faced Yuki. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya's first season originally aired out of chronological order, very similarly to a certain French superhero show. But unlike said superhero show, this was done intentionally. For you see, chronologically, the really big plot episodes happened during the first half of the season, leaving the next half to only be self-contained, mostly slice-of-life episodes with some supernatural or suspenseful shenanigans here and there. In order to keep the interest of the viewers, they spread out the plot episodes by placing some of the self-contained episodes strategically in between the plot episodes. Sure, doing things out of order means you might have Halloween happen right after Valentine's Day, but in all honesty, this broadcasting order worked really well, and many viewers prefer it over the chronological order. And speaking of plot, when things get serious in this show, you often don't expect it because of how often it feels more like a slice-of-life show. You know, because of the episodes being out of order situation. But it leaves such an impact when the big things do happen. The biggest event has to be the culmination of both seasons of the anime, which is the movie The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, and just so happens to be one of my favorite anime movies of all time. But before you watch and appreciate the movie, you have to experience The Endless Eight, one of the most controversial anime arcs to ever exist. What is the Endless Eight? Well, walk with me here. I want to set the scene for you rather than just tell you. Okay, so in season 2, imagine watching a harmless and cute episode about Haruhi and her friends going on their summer break. They talk about their plans and enact those plans and have a jolly old time together. The episode ends and all is right in the world. And then when the next episode airs a whole week later, we see Haruhi and her friends going on their summer break, talking about their plans and enacting those plans, having a jolly old time together. The episode ends. Huh, that's weird. Anyway, the next new episode another week later is all about Haruhi and her friends going on their summer break, talking about their plans and... Wait, what the heck is going on? Did the people down at the station accidentally air the exact same episode 3 weeks in a row? The dialogue is nearly identical and so are the scenes. There's no way this wasn't an accident of some sort and the station has some brand new episodes with new adventures. Surely that must be the case, right? The answer is a grand spectacular... No, these episodes were not aired accidentally. For 8 weeks in a row, the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya aired what seemed like the exact same episode over and over and over. In reality, each episode had slight differences to distinguish one from another, such as some differences in coloring, slightly different camera angles, different wording being used for the same conversations, different clothes worn for otherwise the same events, things like that. But ultimately, the episodes remained 85 to 90% the same. This painful cycle is the Endless Eight. Can you imagine the outrage of the fans of this show who had to experience this when it first aired? I can only imagine what was going on through their heads. The unrivaled levels of frustration. I wouldn't be surprised if some people went through the 5 stages of grief when going through it. Many of us understand the anticipation of having to wait a full week to catch the next episode of your favorite show. Even more so if the show is super good. Now, imagine watching an episode of your favorite show only to be greeted by what seems like the exact same episode the next week, and then the same thing the week after that for 8 weeks. No plot progression, no new adventures, nothing. And the problem is that you have no idea when this insanity will end, so you have no choice but to keep watching and hope that things eventually change. You're too curious to stop watching, and you're too afraid that you'll miss something to turn away. So, you're stuck. Man, sounds awful, right? Makes you want to pull your hair out? Like, why would an animation studio do something as crazy and risky as this? They risked fans being mad at them, and I can't even begin to understand the frustrations of the animators who, yes, had to reanimate each episode despite it being almost completely the same. What was the goal here? Well, the goal was to do exactly what I described. Make you frustrated. That was the entire point. The move was bold, and turned a lot of people off, understandably. But it served a purpose and did something that I've never seen another show ever do, either then or now. Make you feel a fraction of the pain of a character by making you go through a version of the same experience as said character while the character is still experiencing it. But before I continue attempting to explain this insanity, if you're enjoying this video, then do something exciting by hitting the like button and subscribe for more reviews, rants, and rewrites. If you want to support me even more, then click join and become a channel member where you can get cool perks such as, but not limited to, early access to videos as well as live streams. Becoming a member will help me in my dream of having a creative career and providing more entertainment for all of you. Follow me on my socials in the description, and be sure to join our community Discord, link also in the description. If you're still watching at this point, type out SOS in the comments. Thank you! I am desperately trying to avoid spoilers because I think that this whole situation does in fact need to be experienced to some degree in order for it to truly be appreciated. The Endless Eight is the prequel to the movie The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. And, okay, despite my overselling it, the Endless Eight is not technically necessary to enjoy the movie. After all, I personally watched the movie before seeing the Endless Eight, but that's only because I wasn't aware of a season 2, and just thought that there was one season and a movie. It took me a few years to even figure out that there was a season 2, and it wasn't until my research of said season that I learned about the Endless Eight. So, I went into season 2 knowing what I was in for. And fortunately, by that point, I had access to all of the episodes, so I could watch all 8 in one sitting and not have to wait 8 weeks for a conclusion. So I admit that I didn't experience the same kind of pain as those who watched each episode as it aired, and I'll never pretend like I could ever know that level of frustration. Truly, the people who stuck through it are real fans and ultimate champs. However, it's nothing to sneeze at to go through almost 4 nonstop hours of essentially the same episode. So it's honestly just pick your poison. Would you rather your torture only hit you once a week for 8 weeks, or experience 4 hours of pain and get it over with in one day? You decide. Actually, it's no contest. The original viewers clearly had it worse. There was a psychological aspect to that made their torture way more impactful. In my case, I may have chosen to sit through those episodes, but I knew how long it would last, and I had the power to skip it at any point, as I know some people did once they had the power to as well. But because the original viewers got to experience that pain, they were actually the most ready to see the movie. Okay. I've kind of been teasing what happened in these episodes, as well as the movie, but not directly saying any specific plot points. But if you want some spoilers for context, either because you don't intend to watch the show, or you just don't care about spoilers, then here you go. Skip to this timestamp if you want to avoid spoilers. Alright, so it's a time loop. Because of her powers, Haruhi accidentally puts her and her friends through the same 15 or so days of summer vacation over and over again, and most of them, especially Haruhi, have no idea that the events keep starting over. Or rather, they don't feel like they are looping. They get the gist that something is wrong due to clues and eventually understand that it is a loop, but it's not messing with their minds in the same way as it would if you were actively conscious of the fact that your life is looping tens of thousands of times. Most of them just get the collective sense of déjà vu, except for one character. One of the characters has been conscious throughout all of the loops and had to endure their days starting over and being the same for years. This character knew about the loop from the start and couldn't really do anything about it. They essentially had to suffer all alone. This is the character you are supposed to empathize with. This is the character whose frustrations we are supposed to share. And it is this character who causes the main conflict in the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, due to the insanity acquired from that experience. Are we all caught up now? Cool. This whole play by the showrunners was both very brilliant and also really dumb. Exceptionally not worth it. Absolutely hilarious. In retrospect, that is. But also really, really brilliant. As someone who didn't watch it when it aired, I can take a step back and understand why it was done the way it was done. As alluded to before, a lot of the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya's storytelling and production choices were actually very smart and well thought out. The showrunners wanted their audience to experience something, and they accomplished their goal. The only drawback was the fact that many fans were mad at this choice despite its effectiveness. I guarantee that once all was said and done, many came to appreciate what they went through, and even believed that it enhanced their experience with the movie. But I'm also sure that some others weren't quite so understanding. Do I think this mini form of torture was necessary? No. I think they could have accomplished their goal just as well without doing this. Do I advise any storyteller to try something like this again? Absolutely not. I'm almost certain there is no graceful way to replicate this and have most people not come out hating themselves, the story itself, and the storyteller. In conclusion, The Endless Eight went down in infamy as one of the worst arcs in anime history, and I personally don't think it deserves that title. only because of how stupidly brilliant the whole idea is, but I get it. Regardless of how you feel about it, infamy still means that it is memorable. It definitely left its impact on anime almost as much as the Hare Hare Yukai. And despite the usually negative attention the Endless Eight gets, many people share in my opinions regarding the quality of the show as a whole, as well as sing the praises of the movie. A lot of love and care went into making this anime, and even writing the story within the light novels and manga. This is a story beloved by many, and won't be forgotten anytime soon. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is an anime I definitely recommend because of its awesome concept, storytelling, animation, characters, and music. If you haven't yet, give it a watch. And I dare you to sit through the Endless Eight before catching the movie. And if you're feeling really spicy, watch one episode of the Endless Eight and only watch one episode per week until the Endless Eight is over. You know, if you want to replicate that pain. Oh, and yes, please watch the movie. 1000% recommend. You won't regret it. As far as the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya as a whole, the entire story unfortunately isn't animated, so once you're done with the anime and its movie, if you're itching for more and aren't satisfied, definitely check out the light novels or manga. You should check out Lucky Star too. Other than sharing some voice actors, both being produced by Kyoto Animation, both having an awesome dance sequence, and one show referencing the other, they don't really have anything in common, but Lucky Star is still fun if you're into cute slice of life anime where nothing really happens except a charming good time. I'm only talking about Lucky Star like this and recommending it because I am not going to make a video about it. I don't really have much to say about it other than that it's fun, and I talked about it earlier, so why not plug it now? Both anime have an English dub if you're interested. I personally enjoy the dubs, but I know people have their preference. And now I open the floor to all of you. Have you seen The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya? Have you seen The Endless Eight? Did you experience the original broadcast of The Endless Eight? Did you see the movie? And the biggest question of all, have you learned the Hare Hare Yukai? I already know the answer is yes. I just want to hear you say it. Comment below and let's get this conversation started. If you enjoyed this video, just remember that I'm the artistic Aloubell. I review things, I rant sometimes, and rewrite stories occasionally. I'd appreciate it if you subscribed and joined the family of bells where we chill in the bell tower, adhere to the golden rule, and use cookies as our currency. But as for now, that's all there is. There isn't any more.